Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. I'm David Thomas. Across from me is Jason Boyette, Kenny Parker, and Mr. Bill Anderson.
I'm here.
We got some sports to talk about, guys. March Madness is in full gear now.
Yep. Basketball.
So we're gonna talk a lot about
They
that.
play basketball in March.
Yes, they do.
My eyes are dribbling right now from watching so much.
Yeah. So, and you had a pretty good week of prediction.
I did.
We're going to talk about that. Before we do, let's hear from our sponsors, which would be
Kincaid
Service Company
and First Bank here in Shelbyville. We'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All righty, welcome back to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Bill, before we dive into March Madness, we're going to talk about some local scores with some of our high school teams here in the county. And we'll talk about some that's just right around close by that's not in our county. Why don't you give us some baseball scores and softball scores? And
Let's start with softball for Shelbyville. Tough week for them. Lost 13-0 to Lincoln County, 12-1 to Coffee County, and 12-2 to Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Baseball, Shelbyville beat Brighton out of West Tennessee 11-7. Brighton's got a heck of a baseball program. And then Shelbyville lost their first game of the year to Murfreesboro Central Magnet 4-2, which was a team they beat to start the season. And they beat Forest 4-3. And guys, I can't find the Cookville Show score. I don't know if they didn't play or if the score's not up. I've been checking.
It happens from time to time. It's like somebody drops the ball on reporting it at some chain. And I know Coach T, there's a lot of scores that just don't show up. And it takes somebody going in there to report
Monday night, Jason, I believe it's here. It's Shelbyville, Lincoln County here. That's a big ball game. Big game. That's going to be a good one.
All right, let's talk about community.
Community girls softball, guys, is rolling.
They're for real. I told you they're for real. He's 6, 7, 8 pitchers deep. Cam Farrell is doing one heck of a job at community. They can play with anybody.
Beat Eagleville 14-4, and Eagleville's one of the better softball teams in the state.
Eagles single A softball. Eagle pitcher going to Ole Miss, shortstop going to Arkansas. Got a sophomore and freshman pitcher that can play too. But community's just they're solid all the way around. And the thing about it is, I talked to you about 7 or 8 pitchers. They've probably got 11 or 12 girls that could start for anybody.
Yeah.
This community also beat Blackman 5-0. I think community's got softball now, 4 or 5 shutouts already.
Yeah, they can play. They can play. Catcher's good, pitcher's good. I mean, they're solid.
Well, it's good to see the athletic program and community have something like this happen there and going through some transition.
They're solid.
And it's good to see them come out.
The other really good baseball team in the county's Cascade. Now, they did lose to Spring Hill 8-6, which was their first loss of the season. I'm telling you, Cascade's got a heck of a baseball team.
Yeah, they can play.
Them and Shelbyville both, I think, can really make some noise this season. And Coach Robbie Davis, he played Richland, split with them. He lost 7-2 the first game, beat them 6-5 the next time, and community beat Huntland 7-3.
I think community, both softball and basketball, we're on spring break this week. I think they both went south to Gulf Shores to play some of that stuff like a lot of teams do. So I think both baseball and softball are in Gulf Shores this week.
Well, let's mention Webb real quick. They played Providence Christian 2 games. They beat Providence 1-0, and they lost the second game 2-1. Providence Christian, pretty doggone good
Pretty
at
good,
every
yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I know you got something to say about this next topic you've got on your piece of paper there. Coach KT.
Kevin Thomas, good friend of mine. He used to be head boys basketball coach here at Central. David, he took us to double overtime in the state finals.
2007, I
Yeah,
believe it was.
76, 75. We lost. We almost won a state championship.
Had Mr. Basketball that year.
Well, my main man, Kevin Thomas, went home to Jackson County. And folks, if you can win at Jackson County, I'm sorry, you can win anywhere.
Yeah.
Jackson County, though, been
girls,
pretty good.
In girls.
Yeah, but they've been pretty good, though. They play basketball. In Jackson County, basketball is their
girls
number one
basketball.
sport. Yeah.
Not boys.
Okay.
Boys now.
Kevin Thomas has got that
Good.
place turned
Well, that's
around.
great.
31-3.
Yes.
KT's a coach.
He made the Final
Yeah.
Four and lost to Alcoa, the defending 2-time state champion, 59-38. But he beat Jackson Central Mary, to give you an example. Jackson Central Mary has got athletes.
Yeah.
And Kevin beat them 66-56.
There you go.
Huge upset
Great
in the state
year.
tournament. Great year.
Yeah. Couldn't
And,
have a better guy.
Oh, Kevin's a great
He's
dude.
great
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Also, we were talking before we came on. Tullahoma boys.
Yes.
Playing.
Deep in the playoffs here now. Deep in the championship.
Got some more
there you
Bobos on that team.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
Bobos
say. A
and
lot of
Johnsons.
Shelbyville connections.
We were talking the Shelbyville connections. We got the
There's four
Bobos,
of
the
them,
Johnsons, and you said the other
The Tenon
Tenon.
boys' daddy went to school here.
Yeah, so we've
That's
got
4 of them.
I mean, we're just 15 miles down the road. I mean, it's almost like
and,
home, you know.
And they're playing in the state championship today, and it's a rematch of the district of
Yeah,
the
Upperman.
region championship with Upperman. So they played for the region championship earlier, and Tullahoma won that game.
Hope they get the same result today.
Yeah,
I do too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, both of them are like
I wish we had that when they were reclassifying and we had the enrollment for all the schools. I'm just curious as to what Tullahoma's enrollment is versus Upperman's.
Right.
I know Tullahoma is a big rival of Shelbyville Central, but when you see those kids do what they're doing,
yeah.
you got to pull for them, no matter what kind of rival they are. I mean, they're right down the road from us.
And I think that's why Tullahoma's baseball team's off to such a slow start. As all the basketball
Right.
players and basketball's rolling. That's why Tullahoma's baseball's off.
I don't know.
But baseball's, I've noticed Tullahoma's baseball lately, they've been winning.
But they got a great tradition over there. They've won several state championships over the years.
Yeah.
Have they ever won the boys' basketball?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Not that-
They won it in football. They won it in baseball.
Right. I don't know that they have.
But they may well
This
win
will
in
be,
basketball
this
this
will be
time.
big for them.
And Moore County made the state this year, didn't
The girls,
Yeah,
the girl, yeah, they got
Chad's
beat the
first round.
Coach
First round.
Chad Spencer. That's 2 years in a row. He's taking them to the state. So they've got that program going on all cylinders.
Yep.
It's good to see another neighbor of ours.
and got a lot of girls coming
And
back.
and
this year.
Chad, he's been a part of the program around here for years, and he got that job there, and it's close to home, and it is his home now, but he's doing an outstanding job.
Almost a destination job, Moore County, because you can't beat the pay,
Yeah,
and you've always got athletes.
Yep.
And they
But,
pay well.
doing a good job. All right, let's shift gears now and talk about some March Madness. But before we do, I want to talk about these refrigerators you got to haul off, Bill.
I don't haul stuff off.
Why not?
Got bad back.
I got on
Terrible back.
I said something to one of my mechanics the other day. He said, I just had to replace my washer and dryer. And I said, I hope you went to Kincaid's. I said, because if you didn't, you took it off.
That's right.
And I said, yeah, you go to one of them old convenience stores and may pay a few nickels less, but then you got to do a whole lot more work and then find somebody to work on it.
Well, one other thing to think about too, these big box stores have it might say the same brand on it. Okay. It might say Amana, but it's their special version of
That's right.
cut down quality.
It's their cut down quality.
Yeah.
That's
they
right.
they don't make them as good
Nope.
as the main dealers. If you look at the model numbers, they're just a little different too. And it looks like the same machine, if it's a washing machine or a dryer. But when you go to Kincaid, you're getting the real top of the line.
Exactly.
Big difference there.
It's not a
too.
washing machine, but a friend of mine that works on lawnmowers was telling me that you go to certain chain stores and you see a John Deere mower.
Yeah, they ain't the same.
No.
The only thing John Deere about that mower is the green on the
and
hood.
yellow.
The John Deere manufacturer will not service.
Won't service it.
No, sir.
You're correct. He was telling me the same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything is lighter weight. It's
right.
just to cut prices so
Right.
they can get that
Mhm.
sitting out there and
Sure.
get the attention.
Exactly.
But with Kincaid, where service is their middle name, you're going to get the service and you're going to get the
every
quality.
time.
Well, let's pause now and hear from First Bank and Kincaid and we'll be right back to talk some March Madness.
Incade Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All righty, welcome back into Bedford County Sports Talk Live. First of all, 2 upset predictions. You hit them both, man.
It's because he lost his fuzz.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he did.
Did it make him smarter all of a
I
sudden?
don't know. He hit them both last
Yeah, he
week,
did.
though.
All right, who did you predict?
I picked that Drake would win, and I picked McNeese State would
You
win.
picked
They
Drake
both
over and
won.
McNeese over who? Both
Clemson.
over.
Yeah, McNeese was over Clemson, and Drake was over. Who they beat?
Oh, I've got it on here. Where is it? Drake's upset. Well, I didn't write it down. Who did they beat?
Well,
But anyway, it was
Missouri. SEC.
Missouri. That's
Yeah,
right.
Bill-
yeah, man,
Bill's a
yeah,
Missouri
those are
team,
two
yeah.
big
Yeah.
wins for 2 programs
Yeah.
you don't hear about every
Right,
day.
right.
exactly.
How'd you pick those? You've been watching them all year.
They were both hot at the end of the year. I
Yeah.
like teams that are really hot at the very end, and they both played well down the stretch. And sometimes you get lucky when you make a pick.
Hey, McNeese
I got
had
a
to
few
hold
more.
on, but they were ahead 31 to
They were.
13 at halftime over Clemson. They
I never really bought
dominated.
into the Clemson hype either. Like
Yeah.
Duke is really, really good, but the rest of that conference is just trash.
The
It's not very
ACC doesn't
good.
look very good here,
Yeah.
do they?
No.
Everybody's lost except Duke.
Right.
Everybody's out.
It looks like they had one really good team, and the rest of them are not very good.
The ACC's living on the past.
They are.
And we,
That's what got North Carolina
SEC
in.
got 14 teams in,
I know.
and we're saying we didn't know how they got 14 teams. Bill said 10, but then what you saw 6 of them's already
6
lost.
of them already out the first
So-
game.
That's there
The
you
one
go.
thing about that, there are a lot of other Drakes and McNeese States out there that
Exactly,
could be
that
in
we don't
those
know.
3 spots.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, 14's a bit much.
Sure.
You were
I
saying
agree.
10.
That's
I
what
kind of thought
maybe
you-
11 or
Yeah.
maybe 12, but not 14. I never envisioned that.
So Vanderbilt goes down in flames.
Yeah.
Both men and women went down yesterday.
But who was it that
Vanderbilt
beat them?
had
I
a
looked at
chance to
that.
tie the game. They
Yeah,
lost
they- who they
59-56, and they
And
were
they
playing
lost
St.
St.
Mary's.
Mary's.
St.
I
Mary's
know.
is good.
They
Are
shot.
I had St. Mary's.
Did you really?
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Vanderbilt led
Well,
most of that
yeah.
game up into the end.
Led big in the first half, but
Yeah.
they had 2 chances for threes at the end of
If
the game.
Milo was
St.
playing
Mary's
them, you'd
beat
pick 'em.
Gonzaga twice. St. Mary's is for real.
St. Mary's.
They're going to they'll give Alabama a ball game.
They will.
Alabama's
definitely.
probably got too many athletes.
Yeah, I think I'll.
Way I understand that St. Mary's is a slow down team and Alabama's a up tempo team, so we'll see.
I got you an upset for today.
All right, let's
All
hear
right.
it.
Don't be shocked if Creighton didn't beat Auburn today.
What?
I could see it. Wouldn't shock me either.
Creighton's a real deal.
Creighton is good.
Creighton's a real
And
deal.
they've got a big man that'll match
Beat
up
the
with
number
Brady.
1?
They could beat
They
Auburn.
could.
today.
They could.
You know what? Creighton's got that little bird. Their blue and white got a little
Yeah.
bird as a mascot.
Blue Jay.
The Blue Jays,
All right.
yeah.
Who else you got? Upset wise. Anybody?
McNeese State, I'm going to roll with them again over Purdue today. They're
I
going to
agree.
beat Purdue.
Okay. Did y'all see anything else in that first round that jumped out at you as a surprise, a shocker?
Colorado State beat Memphis the way they beat them.
Yeah.
Memphis had a big lead in the first half. Typical Memphis, though. Second half adjustments were made. Hardaway didn't make them, and Colorado beat them. Colorado State beat them by 8, and Memphis was up like 10. And Memphis has got athletes. They always have athletes.
I
But I
can't
thought-
watch all this stuff because it's during this time we're driving school buses, so
Okay.
I miss most of it.
What about Arkansas?
That was
Did
an impressive
did
win
that-
over Kansas.
Did that shock you any?
No.
That's gonna be a fun game
Arkansas
today.
beat Kansas.
They
Yes.
sure did 79-72.
Calipari versus Patino. That'll be a
Mhm.
fun. that's
I
I
gonna be
was
a
going to
fun one.
ask about that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be
who
fun.
won? One of them beats. Who won to beat? One of them beat somebody. before they
Arkansas
got to
beat
Patina.
Kansas to get there, and St. John's beat Omaha.
Arkansas beat Kansas. Okay, so that
Well, you got some scores. How else did the SEC fare, Bill?
SEC, Auburn rolled 83-62 over Alabama State. Texas A&M beat Yale. I thought Yale might beat A&M, really. I really did.
there was a lot of people that they picked that one.
80-71. Gonzaga pounded Georgia. There's your team that did not deserve to be in the NCAA
Yeah.
tournament, Georgia. They did not
There were
deserve
several
to
of them.
be. 89. They didn't even have the quad wins, though. I don't see how they got there. The Drake game in Missouri, 67-57. And if y'all haven't watched Drake, that's the best coach team in America. They pass the ball. They get wide open
They're fun to
layups.
watch.
They're impressive.
Yeah.
Arkansas over Kansas, like we mentioned. Ole Miss beat North Carolina 71-64. North Carolina had gotten hot at the end. People said they shouldn't have been in. They pounded San Diego State, who's good. Had a really good chance here in this game, but Ole Miss pulled it out in the end. Ole Miss went through a 7-minute drought where they couldn't score and let UNC back in that ballgame. Tennessee beat Wofford 77-62. Wofford was terrible. That game should have been 50. That was one of the worst. I don't know how they got in. Xavier beat Texas. There's another team that shouldn't have been there. Texas should not have made it. Florida, that may be everybody's national champion pick, 95-69 over Norfolk State. Kentucky beat Troy 76-57. Mississippi State lost to Baylor. That didn't surprise me, 75-72. And Alabama, Kenny's team, 90-81 over Robert Morris. Where is that?
Who is that guy?
I thought that was a tobacco company.
I did too.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That's
it was a
Philip
school.
Morris, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So
How about Lipscomb, guys? Mention that real quick.
Yeah.
They made the tournament. Good, congratulations, David Lipscomb. Well, they lost 82-55.
but
Heck
they
of a year getting
but
in the
who'd they
tournament.
have to play?
Iowa State.
There you go. Now, I overheard you guys as we're coming in. Very well could have some SEC rematches pretty soon. If we
Tennessee's
win.
got to beat UCLA, and who is it that
Kentucky's got to beat Illinois.
Illinois, and you think Illinois?
I think Illinois beats Kentucky.
I think
That's
Illinois
one of
beats
my
Kentucky.
upsets today.
I hope so. I'm tired of looking at that blue. Jeez.
I kind of like to see Tennessee play them again because I don't think it's the same Kentucky team it was earlier. They're not as they faded down the stretch, as I'll say.
For whatever reason, we have not matched up well with Kentucky.
We have not.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind playing them a
I'd kind
third
of like to
time.
play them one more time, wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah.
In watching the game, Tennessee's game, did you guys feel like that they've got their momentum back a little bit?
I felt like they played down to the competition, and Tennessee
Yeah.
has a habit of doing that.
Oh, yeah.
They,
I mean, it wouldn't
They were in
shock me if they
control.
lost tonight. It wouldn't shock me.
yeah, they're not going to lose tonight.
But I look at that score, 77-62. I would have thought, man, that's got to be 30 points or more. Maybe he pulled some of them off. Did he rest
Well,
anybody?
we don't have anybody to rest
No,
because we don't have
exactly.
9
Yeah.
players.
All right.
But
He's
my
playing
question,
this like they play the SEC tournament.
my concern is when you see Tennessee attempted more 3-point shots than Wofford, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Why are you shooting threes when you're up 15-20? You need to be driving to the basket, getting it inside.
Well, did they view it as a scrimmage and felt we need to shoot some threes?
There you
Maybe.
go. What,
Who knows
trying
what's
to work
going
on a
on?
weakness.
I don't know. I think
Barnes
that,
claimed that Wofford was he really had a lot of praise for them. He was
What I saw, I wasn't impressed.
he said they were really a really good
Were
team.
you
We lucky
impressed? Athletically,
They
no.
didn't-
how many
No,
times
no,
you ever
no.
heard a coach say this team stunk?
I know.
We should have
Never.
made them a lot worse.
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
Never
You
gonna
can kind
hear
of
it.
tell
what?
Barnes meant it.
They're
though.
always
Yeah.
well coached.
That's right.
They play hard.
Disciplined and
They're disciplined.
Yeah.
Always.
yeah.
Tennessee gets the late game tonight at 8:45 against UCLA, and I just think Tennessee is a tough matchup for
I
UCLA.
think Tennessee will win, but nothing shocks me at this point.
You mentioned Auburn Creighton. How about Michigan, Texas A&M today? That could be interesting.
A&M.
I sort of think A&M beats them too. St. John's, Arkansas, we mentioned. I think Arkansas's got a shot at them. Arkansas has got all these 5 stars and all the moving parts started slow, but the talent for Coach
They
Calipari's
got the
there.
athletes.
It's
no
there.
doubt.
He's coaching there the same way he did at Kentucky.
Right. And sometimes when you got all these transfer ports, it takes a while. Jonas Adu, all of a sudden from Tennessee, looking good at Arkansas. He had like
Yeah.
24 points against Kansas. St. Mary's, Alabama could be a good one. Ole Miss, Iowa State could be interesting because
Well, they're
Iowa
all
State's
supposed
best
to be
players
good
out.
now. Right now, they're supposed to be good right now. 32 teams. Supposed to. Everything's supposed to be getting better now. You're weeding them out.
Okay, Jason, who's your sleepers?
I could see Creighton beating Auburn tonight. I think BYU beats Wisconsin.
Oh, I agree with that one, 100%.
I think McNeese beats Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois over Kentucky. I can't quite pull this one, but if New Mexico beat Michigan State, it wouldn't shock me. New Mexico looks
New
good.
Mexico looks really good. That's Rick Pitino's son.
Rick
Yeah.
Pitino's son. I just don't know if they have quite enough horses to beat Michigan State. Drake, same thing. I don't know if they have quite enough to beat Texas Tech, but I won't fall out of the chair. And that's about it for me.
Hey, special shout out to Todd Bobo out in Las Vegas.
He's giving a seminar.
That's
I
what I
hear.
hear.
I hope they're doing well out there.
What
I hope
do you
so,
think
too.
he's giving a seminar on, Bill?
Lines.
Lines.
Yep. Probability.
He a Detroit
Lines.
Lions.
No,
No,
lines.
Lines. Lines.
Point spread. Probability.
Pluses
addition,
and minuses, and he's real good with math. I hear.
What a great weekend to be out there in Vegas. That'd be nice to be out there doing that. And shout out to those guys. I'm sure they're having a big time up there.
All right. Well, now we're going to venture off into your favorite topic, Bill.
Do we have to?
Tennessee Titans and the draft.
Oh, we can talk about the draft.
Well,
you want to talk about this stellar signing we had this week, guys?
Yes, let's talk about it.
All right. You
going to take a break, or we're going?
No, we're going to stay right here
because this ain't going to take very long.
We'll let Bill slow down.
This ain't going to take very long. The Titans signed an edge rusher. He's 6'4", 264. He went to Georgia. 3rd round pick for the Giants back in 2018. Last played with the Falcons. You know how many sacks he had last year?
0.
Yes, sir.
Same as we had.
That's exactly right.
What are they giving for him? What are they having to give him?
They haven't said that yet. But the comparison I read, they compared him to the Brandon Allen as a quarterback when he signed an edge rushers. Goodness. He just wasn't very productive. He was okay his first couple of years in the league, hadn't been since. Plays the run okay, but a poor pass rusher is what they call him.
And, a poor pass rusher. That's what we need.
So you're putting him at edge.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what they're doing. I really do not understand.
All right, so that's the question. Everybody's trying to speculate right now. We have this conversation every week. Are they going to take Cam Ward?
It's set up to look that way.
Okay.
I think they're playing their cards the way I said they
I would think that too, Kenny, but I got here sitting there thinking, looking at all this other stuff, I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
I tend to agree with you, David Thomas.
You know what? This other stuff.
There's just nobody else out there. They've got to get a quarterback now. They're almost.
I don't think they have to get that quarterback. Yet, I'm not saying they don't have to get a quarterback. But is that the quarterback?
No.
He's the best quarterback in this draft.
He's the best quarterback.
Who Cam Ward is?
Yeah.
Not at Tennessee.
All right, let me ask you this.
That's the problem, guys. I'll agree with that one.
Is he going to win at Tennessee?
It's going to be tough because he doesn't have any weapons.
All
it's
right.
going to be hard on a young quarterback,
then
any quarterback.
What does any quarterback need to win?
Weapons and a line.
Then why do you want to get a quarterback without weapons?
We need to trade that position and try to get as many picks to fill as many all the holes that we got.
And as long as the Giants haven't signed somebody, that is still a possibility. Because notice they haven't signed Russell Wilson. Who did Jameis Winston go to?
I think
Giants.
He's not going to be their starter.
I think that card is still in there, and neither one of them's letting anybody say. And I'll be honest with you, if they made the deal with the Giants and got the Giants 2nd round pick this year, and they'll probably get another pick where it is. Somebody might want that pick, that 2nd round pick, and trade that one too, and get you some more. Because
here's what I think it'll take.
A lot of players.
Here's what I think it'll take for the Titans to move off Cam Ward. It's going to take the Giants 2, they're 3, and next year's 1, or they're not going to do it.
I think that's too much.
I think it is too.
I think anybody would do it. I think if you got this year's 2 and maybe next year's 2,
I'd like to have that 3 back too. I'd like to have it. I'd take a 2 and a 3 and do it.
I read a thing today that said it never been this long, but we still haven't had a 1st round trade yet. Mm-hmm. It's never gone this long without having one. There hasn't been one trade yet in the 1st round. No one's traded up anywhere.
But if they could get, if they could trade that one with a Giants and get, if you want to go a 2 and a 3 this year, I'm good with that.
Well, let's talk about what Cam Ward brings to the table. He's got a strong arm.
Mm-hmm.
He can move well. He's big. He's physically big. He's thrown for a lot of yards. He seems to make good decisions.
And he's done it multiple places.
Right. Okay.
He's the same size as Steve McNair.
Yes, that was the fear. He wasn't that big, but at the combine he proved
he's pretty good size. All right. So here's the question: can he bring that to the Titans when they don't have receivers or they don't have that running back that's going to carry the ball 30 times?
I don't think a Steve McNair type quarterback, even though how great Steve was when he was with Tennessee, and I watched them and they were good. I don't think that kind of quarterback wins anymore in this modern day NFL.
Boy, I kind of see a lot of Steve McNairs out there. I see Josh Allen. I see Lamar Jackson. I think that game's
the
changed.
Toughness is a good thing. I mean, is he tough?
Don't have to be tough.
Hey, I don't see the Tom Brady's right now in the NFL. Y'all see the Tom Brady's in the NFL right now?
No.
I don't see it at all. The game's changed.
Those are few and far between.
Pocket passers, that's not a thing anymore.
All right, so if he brings this to the table, we don't have the weapons for him. He's definitely not going to succeed.
Go back to Steve McNair. How did McNair succeed here? He sat. That was where I thought we should have brought in a veteran.
Right.
maybe a Kirk Cousins and somehow get a trade or something.
They're
and get Cousins.
They're doing that with your boy now.
He sit
They're
behind
setting him.
If Will Levis is on this team, there's going to be some fans out of here.
They're setting him.
There's going to be some fans out of here.
They got to.
Yeah.
So we're going. What's the other kid's name that we signed? Allen.
That's the quarterback that I was telling you about.
Yeah, right.
Brandon Allen.
He's going to be starting.
He's the starter.
All right. So let's just say that we do get this Cam Ward in here. What's going to happen that's going to give him a weapon or two?
Nothing.
I don't see you give it all your equity's gone right there, and you've signed all these others that are unproven or their time has passed. That one good lineman.
You took your
maybe.
one consistent receiver and traded him off,
Right.
Westbrook Akine.
Right.
Well, see,
That one I just don't understand.
when I look at this draft with the Cam Ward, it's not hardly the same as when the Panthers had the young quarterback Bryce Young from Alabama, and Chicago was sitting there with the number one pick, and they traded back and got. And you see what's got Carolina where they're at right now, and you see what's happened to Chicago. They're on the uptrend. I think that, and it didn't happen for Chicago overnight. It's not going to happen for Tennessee overnight. There's going to have to be, but I do think.
Let me ask you this.
I've always said this in coaching football. It's not the X's and the O's. X's and O's. You can be the best football coach, the best mind. It's not X's and O's. It's Jimmy's and Joe's.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Jimmy's and Joe's, which the Titans don't have, the only way you're going to win is to get some Jimmy's and Joe's.
All right. Back to something he said a minute ago. You said this is the first time in so many years that nobody's traded.
Usually someone's moved up or down. No one's moved at all.
You think they're waiting to see what Tennessee does and the dominoes just start
could
falling?
be. Once they,
I think in today's world, with the salary cap and all, the draft picks are a main commodity. Used to, they'd throw them things around. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
They're wanting draft picks. You look at somebody.
It's because of money.
You look at what happened with Tennessee and the young man that went to Green Bay. Give us a seventh round pick.
If I'm the Titans, I trade back to 3 or 4. Take the wide receiver, defensive back guy out of Colorado, and get some more picks.
I think I would rather have
safest player.
I would rather
It is
have
the safest player.
I would rather have the guy from Colorado than the kid from Penn State. I think he's more versatile, can help us.
You talking about Bill
And I love the guy at Penn State.
I do too.
You talking about the tight end or the defensive end?
We're talking
the
about
defensive end.
Oh, yeah, I'd
I
rather
want
have
that tight end.
I know you do, but not at that.
Yeah,
not
I
at
don't
that.
know. I don't want to have Bill
Well, I
Carter.
don't know. I don't know.
Now, if they could do something, I'm with you. If they did it with the New York Jets and fell down back about 6,
7 or 7.
Take
I do.
now
I'm with
I
you
go
there.
there. Now I go there.
Because that's something that Tennessee has not
I
had.
agree.
That is a great weapon for a quarterback
Yeah.
that struggles.
I've always said in the NFL that is the hidden secret is defenses don't match up with really good tight ends.
You take Travis Kelce away Kansas City, how many championships they got?
Sure.
Travis Hunter would be my pick.
Yeah.
If you
would
had
be
to
my-
stay up at
Slide
that
back.
high spot.
Yep.
And
slide
if
back.
I stayed at 1, I still think Travis Hunter would be my pick.
Let me ask y'all this question. My question is, the Titans have been in the last few years, one of the worst drafting teams in the NFL. It's just a fact. We've blown pick after pick. Judging by what I've seen in free agency, I can't see that we're evaluating free agent talent very good. I question how we're going to do drafting ability.
Right now, you'd be better off polling the fans than you would doing the path you're going on right now.
But what I'm saying is you still
Really?
have to have Jimmy's and Joe's, but you have to have athletes and playmakers. The NFL's about playmakers. And we don't have any on offense, defense, or anywhere.
I really believe, and I know you don't like it, and that's fine, but I believe he's building his team from the ground up.
We're definitely on the ground.
Yeah. We're definitely there.
It may be below ground.
I know.
But he went out and he's securing his offensive line. Hadn't started with a defensive line because that what you said a while ago didn't help at all. But I believe he's.
I do
he's-
think the
he's doing
offensive
that.
line's going to be better.
I
I agree.
think-
with
and I
that.
Yeah, and
think
that's what we
gonna-
said last
I
year.
agree.
That's going to make
That's
the
good.
offense.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
gonna, in itself going to help the offense.
It will.
But defensively, it's where the Titans last year were better than people thought, right?
Mhm.
Why in the world would you go and cut that corner chick, a doozy or whatever, even though he was hurt some from the Bengals? You didn't save any money. And now you've got a hole at corner you didn't have on paper. And the last thing this team needs is more holes.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many draft picks to fill the holes. You have no edge rushers. You may have fixed your line. You got a quarterback problem. You have no wide receivers. And defensively now, you're down a corner. And who are the linebackers?
Like I say, we're on the ground.
We are on the
We
ground.
can't get up.
And if the sneak guy that we paid all the money to
up.
can't play this year, you're really in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, and that's to me, we all talk and we all get into this free agency, and we talked a couple of weeks ago, we got all this cap money and we got all this free agency, and we go out there and we spend, and then we wind up with Jadeveon Clowney and some of these other guys that we busted with, where people don't like to be conservative. They like to be the aggressor, and sometimes I think that's not a great way to do it.
Yeah, I hadn't looked past down into the second, third rounds. Is there a decent receiver out there?
Sure, there always is. Could we pick him, though?
No, I doubt it. But I'm just saying, is there one out there?
I think the Missouri guy would be there in the second round for us.
He's a good one.
I like him.
What I've heard with several GMs is this draft is deep. It's not top heavy, but it's deep.
Yeah.
And we've talked about all that, the age and how these kids, the COVID, and this draft is really deep. And I think that might be one of the reasons that we're not seeing the trades and all, because they know there's hidden gems out there, but you got to find them. You got to find them.
Yeah, I think the Missouri guy will be there in the second round we picked.
I do too.
That'd be great.
You remember a couple of years ago when we traded up in the fourth round and picked Des Fitzpatrick out of Louisville when he never played a down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was at least 4 great players. And one of them's that receiver for the Detroit Lions. What's his name in fantasy? The really good one?
St. Brown?
We passed on St. Brown for Des Fitzpatrick.
There's a lot. We focus here on the Titans because they're our local. But all these franchises have done that kind of stuff. Maybe not as much as.
Let's mention one other thing, guys. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you not about fed up with Aaron Rodgers already?
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I can't believe anybody would sign that guy.
Well, no, if you're going to, what is the delay here? You want me to coddle you and beg you to play? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen a person like him.
I don't know.
He needs to go on and start his podcast and do his podcast. That's what he wants to do. He really does. He wants to talk. Let him
be
be
honest. He may not even want to play quarterback. He may not even want to play anymore.
He sure alluded to it, put the Steelers in a bind.
Well, I mean, but still, he may not even want to.
With that Achilles heel happening, that ended him pretty much.
I don't.
Now, let me ask you this: if he does go to Pittsburgh, DK Metcalf has somewhat of an attitude. And you got Pickens, the other receiver, and Rodgers. Can y'all see that really working?
I can't see Mike Tomlin tolerating it.
But
I can't either. Mike Tomlin, I think, is one of the best coaches in the league.
Here's the thing: he goes to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to Dublin, Ireland, this year, and you know who they're probably going to play? The Packers.
Are they really?
So did you see Aaron Rodgers in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform playing against the Packers in Dublin, Ireland?
See, I think Aaron Rodgers really wants to play for the Vikings, and the Vikings don't want Aaron Rodgers, and that's the whole thing.
And I think I don't disagree with that.
I think that's.
I'd want to play for the Vikings too. All those receivers they have,
and he's seen the Vikings. He knows how they.
He's not in a position right now.
And what do the Vikings have that Aaron Rodgers has had before?
Stud receivers,
the running back,
and a running back, but they got Justin Jefferson.
The running back that he played with at Green Bay.
Yeah,
you know who Rodgers reminds me of right now? Zelensky. When Trump told him, "You ain't got the cards,"
right?
He's in the same position that he's in. He don't have any cards to play. Mm-hmm. He better be hope that somebody even wants him at this point.
Yeah,
well, somebody's going to want him. But, Russell Wilson's the one I'm surprised that's sitting out there. No one signed him yet.
Well, and he's.
Is there a chance of Titans signing?
Doesn't sound like it.
Man, Denver killed him.
There's no difference between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers right now. They're both basically
about done.
There's 5 years difference, but I think Aaron Rodgers has got a better arm right now than Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson lost his legs, that was his game. Yeah. And now he can't run like he used to, and that's the difference. Yeah. Rodgers can still spin it.
So, let's go this. You're the man. You're the GM for the Titans. You make a call.
If I could get a, I'd
No,
have to
you
have.
make the
I would
call.
have to have a. Well, you make the call this way. What's the offer to trade?
All right, no,
Exactly.
but you're the man. What is your package?
If I'm the man, I've already brought another quarterback in, Justin Fields, and then I would have took
you're
Cam
the
Ward.
man. That's all. You're the man. You got to go from this point on.
I'm drafting.
If you're going to trade,
I'm drafting Cam Ward. I'm not passing on a potential franchise
here's
quarterback.
the thing.
I think at this point you have to almost.
Here's the thing. You're going to hold me with a word. If the Titans draft Cam Ward, there can't be no more negative about it because that was your pick, Bill.
A little off. I will tell you this: it will be more positive than Will Levis from day one.
Well, then no doubt. we
He's a
but
way
here's
better
the
quarterback than Will Levis.
Yeah,
But
no
here's
doubt
the
about it.
deal: if he, hope he don't. If he turns out to be another Will Levis,
He won't.
that will be by far a worse draft pick than Will Levis.
What's the
Because
over?
you had an opportunity to trade back and get more.
What's the over and under on Callahan being the coach before or after Thanksgiving?
Over.
I don't know, but it's
Over.
like not a good look right now.
But
I
here's the thing: Callahan ain't got nothing.
I agree.
He has nothing.
But
to
your
do
owner's
with it.
told you right now.
He's
What
the
your
next
owner
one
told
on
you.
the chopping block.
At the
next
beginning of
one on
all
the
this,
chopping
Kirk Cousins was the guy I thought we'd get.
Mhm.
I thought Kirk Cousins would be our quarterback.
Well, that's out the window. So
Not
That sounds like-
necessarily.
I think Cousins is going back to
He's going back to
Vikings.
Atlanta. No, it's back to Atlanta.
He's back. He's
He's
still in
back in
Atlanta. They
Atlanta.
paid him a
Atlanta,
bonus,
which I thought was
but
kind of
they're
odd.
still trying to trade him.
I kind of think so too. I don't
Well,
think that
guys,
door's closed.
Hey, everybody watch some basketball.
yeah, March Madness full gear.
That's it.
County sports teams out playing softball and baseball.
And we're on spring break next week.
Spring break next
so
week.
be careful with the traffic. There's going to be a lot. Well, there's going to be a lot of people gone, but
Watch out for the dump trucks too.
yeah, they've slowed down a little bit,
Yeah.
but they still running.
They're
hard.
still rolling. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll do it again next week.
Mhm.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Again, we want to thank our sponsors.
Kincaid.
Service
Company.
and Jason's picks.
Yeah.
Hey, he's the Todd Bobo of the county right
That's
now.
right.
He
Right.
is.
He's a substitute. He's second string now that Todd's in
That's
giving
right.
that seminar
That's right.
out there.
That's right.
Got to hold
And,
it down while he's gone.
We also want to thank First Bank here in Shelbyville
Exactly.
for being our sponsor. Everybody have a nice weekend. We'll see you next week.